Close your eyes and picture this. A teenage girl, no taller than your shoulder, moving through marble corridors lit by flickering oil lamps. Servants pause. Scholars bow. Guards step aside without a word, not because she carries a scepter, but because she carries something far more dangerous. A mind sharper than any sword in the palace. Before she was a queen, before Rome trembled at her name, she was a survivor. And every survivor learns one truth early. Real power doesn't live on the throne. Real power stands just behind it, whispering. But before we dive deeper into Cleopatra's hidden genius, consider this. If history can hide her power this well, imagine what else it's hiding. If you want more stories that reveal the truth beneath the legend, hit that subscribe button, because today, we're pulling back the curtain. Now, let me take you to Alexandria. 51 BCE, the city hums like a living organism. Markets exploding with color. The Pharos lighthouse piercing the sky. And somewhere inside this wealthy, dangerous kingdom, two siblings sharpen their teeth against each other. Cleopatra and her younger brother Ptolemy the 13th sit on a shared throne on paper. In reality, he has the generals. He has the advisors. He has the palace. She has herself. And what Ptolemy doesn't know, what no one in Alexandria realizes yet, is that Cleopatra has already begun studying the very empire threatening to swallow Egypt whole. Not its armies, not its rulers, its people. While her brother wastes nights at feasts, Cleopatra learns languages. 9 of them. While courtiers gamble, she memorizes trade routes. While others chase luxury, she chases leverage. She has no army, no allies, and no throne worth sitting on. So she does what every underestimated mastermind does. She builds her power where no one thinks to look. And then, the day she's been preparing for arrives. Her brother's advisors push her out. Exiled. Alone. Cleopatra, the future legend, reduced to a fugitive wandering the desert. Stands with only a handful of loyal supporters. But here's the thing about deserts. They strip you down until only the truth remains. And the truth was this. Cleopatra was never meant to sit beside a king. She was meant to create one. Because while everyone else sees exile as defeat, she sees an opportunity carved by the gods themselves. Rome is approaching Alexandria. Julius Caesar, the most powerful man alive, is entering her city. Her brother sees danger. Cleopatra sees destiny. But how do you meet the world's most guarded man when you can't even enter your own palace? Simple. You don't walk in. You get delivered. Night falls. The harbor is quiet. A rug, an ordinary dusty roll of fabric, is carried into Caesar's quarters. The guards inspect it, laugh, wave it through. After all, who hides in a rug? It unrolls, and Cleopatra rises like a shadow coming to life. Imagine Caesar's eyes in that moment. He's expecting a desperate child. Instead, he meets a woman who speaks his language literally and politically. She doesn't plead. She doesn't cry. She negotiates. Because Cleopatra knows something Caesar has never heard from an Egyptian ruler before. I don't need you to save me. I need you to understand me. This isn't seduction. This is strategy. Caesar wants stability in the East. Cleopatra wants her kingdom back. And for the first time, he meets someone who thinks like he does. By morning, her brother is shaking with rage. By evening, the city whispers her name. By sunrise, the war begins. Alexandria burns. Soldiers flood the streets. Ships clash in the harbor. And in the chaos, Cleopatra stands beside Caesar, not behind him, not beneath him, but beside him, guiding decisions, interpreting the city's pulse, shaping the outcome like a sculptor carving marble. When the smoke clears, she isn't simply restored to the throne, she is reborn upon it. But here's what most people forget. Her reign doesn't begin with triumph. It begins with a corpse floating in the Nile. Ptolemy the 13th, her brother, dies trying to escape the battle. Some whisper he drowned. Others whisper he was pushed. Cleopatra never clarifies. Power rarely explains itself. And now, with Rome's blessing and Egypt's crown, she becomes the most influential woman on earth. But the crown is just a symbol. The real power lies in what she does next. She rebuilds Egypt's economy from the ground up. She stabilizes grain exports to Rome, turning hunger into her negotiation chip. She reforms laws. She strengthens borders. She studies the Roman Senate like a chessboard. And then she makes the boldest move of her life. She bears Caesar's child, not for romance. For legacy. Because Cleopatra understands something every modern strategist should study. You don't win by fighting empires. You win by making yourself indispensable to them. But destiny is greedy. And Caesar doesn't live long enough to see the future she envisioned. When news of his assassination reaches her, metal flashing, senators shouting, Rome descending into chaos, Cleopatra understands instantly. Her ally is gone. Her protection is gone. Her son is suddenly a threat, but she is not afraid. 4 months later, she sails to Rome anyway. Not as a widow. Not as a servant seeking mercy. But as a queen demanding recognition for her son, the boy who could unite 2 worlds. Rome stares at her in awe. Politicians despise her. Women imitate her. Poets immortalize her. And history? History falls helplessly in love with her legend. But this visit also births a new enemy, one more dangerous than armies or exiled brothers, Octavian, Caesar's ambitious heir. He watches Cleopatra the way a wolf watches a lioness, not with fear, with competition. And Cleopatra senses it. She knows Rome is splitting in 2, and if she chooses wrong, Egypt dies with her. So she waits, she observes, she calculates. And then the tides of power shift toward one man, Mark Antony. Charismatic, reckless, brilliant, a warrior who commands loyalty through sheer force of personality. But Cleopatra doesn't see a warrior. She sees an unfinished equation. Antony needs money, soldiers, ships. Egypt needs a Roman shield. Their meeting on the gilded barge, the one poets gush about as a love story, wasn't a seduction. It was a transaction written in starlight. She arrives dressed as Isis incarnate. Perfumed sails, golden torches, musicians drowning the night in melody. Every detail crafted for one purpose: to show Antony that she is not his equal. She is his empire. Their alliance reshapes the political world overnight. Together, they are unstoppable. Together, they threaten Rome's future. Together, they become the storm Octavian fears most. And fear? Fear is a powerful weapon. Octavian begins a war not against Egypt, but against Cleopatra's image. He paints her as a sorceress, a temptress, a foreign virus infecting Roman politics. He doesn't fight her armies first. He fights her reputation, and it works. The Senate turns against Antony. Allies abandon him. Whispers replace loyalty. Propaganda replaces truth. Until one day, Egypt hears the news no one expected. Rome is coming. Cleopatra stands on the shores of Actium, watching Antony prepare for a battle. He's already lost. Her fleets are strong, yes. Her soldiers trained, yes. But Rome is Rome, and Octavian plays war like a mathematician solving an equation. The battle is chaos. Waves thrashing, ships collapsing, smoke choking the sky. Cleopatra makes a choice that historians still debate. Some call it fear, others call it betrayal. But if you study her life, if you understand the woman behind the legend, you know the truth. She wasn't running from the battle. She was running toward survival. Because Cleopatra's power was never tied to a man. Not Caesar. Not Antony. Not any ruler who stood beside her. Her power was the throne she built inside herself. But destiny has a cruel sense of timing. Antony follows her back to Egypt broken, hunted, convinced he has lost everything. Not just his war, his identity. And when he hears false news that Cleopatra is dead, he chooses to join her. The truth arrives too late. Cleopatra watches him bleed in her arms, his last breath clinging to her name. For the first time, the woman who engineered alliances, shaped kingdoms, outmaneuvered Rome itself faces a battle she cannot strategize her way out of. Rome is at the gates. Octavian wants her alive. Alive means paraded in chains. Alive means humiliation. Alive means her son Caesarion is doomed. And that is the one future Cleopatra will never allow. She arranges her final act with the precision of a queen who never once let someone else write her story. A quiet chamber, a final message, a hidden basket, a bite. And with that single act, Cleopatra doesn't escape history. She conquers it. Because for 2,000 years, the world has debated her, feared her, admired her, misunderstood her. But the truth is this: Cleopatra was not powerful because of the men she loved. She was powerful because she understood something far more important. Real power is never the crown. Real power is the person strong enough to walk away from it. And that is what made Cleopatra the most dangerous woman who ever lived. If you want more stories that reveal the hidden strategies of history's most underestimated minds, make sure you subscribe. Because we're just getting started.